Hello everyone, today we're learning about Mציעא, Daf Tzadik Tes. We're going to start from Daf Tzadik Ches Amud Beis from the Mishnah. Asher lesapara, someone who borrowed the cow, v'sholach aloi biyad b'noi, and the mashil, the one who owned the cow, sent the cow with his son, biyad avdoi, with his slave, biyad shlucho, with his messenger, or biyad b'noi, or with the son, or biyad avdoi, the slave, biyad shlucho, the messenger, shel shoyel. So the owner of the cow sent this cow to give it to the borrower with one of, or his son, slave, or messenger of the owner, or son, slave, messenger of the shoyel. Umeison, on the way before he came to the shoyel, the cow died, potter, because it never came yet into the shus of the shoyel. But if Omar lo yasher sholcho lo biyad bni, the shoyel, the borrower asked, send it with my son, biyad avdi, with my slave, biyad shluchi, with my messenger, or biyad bincho, with your son, biyad avdecho, your slave, biyad shlucho, your messenger, or another case, Omar lo amashil, the owner told the shoyel, Aryeh mishalchalecho biyad bni, biyad avdi, biyad shluchi, I'm going to send it with my messengers, his son, slave, messenger, or biyad bincho, biyad avdecho, biyad shluchicho. But Omar lo yasher shlach, and the shoyel said, yes, please send it. That means so in that case, he's mimane the shliach, the shoyel, the sholcho, and he died on the way. In these two cases of the sefer, chayev, because straight away when the messenger goes, it's in the hands, it's in the rishus of the shoyel. Finishes off the Mishnah, v'chein b'shor shemachzira, and that the same thing applies in the way when he gives it back. In the opposite, if the shoyel sent it back to the mashil with his messenger, one of those 6 cases, so, and he died on the way, the shoyel's chayev. But if the mashil said, send it with your messenger, or my messenger, or the shoyel told the mashil, I'm going to send it, and the mashil said yes, that's it. It's as if he gave back the animal, and if he died in the way, he is potter. Says the Gemara Tzadik Tes Amud Aleph. Biyad avdoi chayev. We're talking about the case where if the shoyel said, send it with your slave, so the shoyel's chayev straight away when he gives it to the slave. So the Gemara asks, Biyad avdoi chayev bitmiya yad eved kiyad raboi. It's never left the mashil's hands because of his slave is like him himself. Amar Shmuel, be'eved ivri deloi konului gufei. It's talking about eved ivri, that the guf is not konui. When do we say yad eved ki yad rabbi? That's eved knani. Be'eved ivri, it's not konui, and therefore, once he gives it to him, he's doing the message of the shoyel. And therefore, the shoyel's chayev already then from ointzin. Rav Omar, different teretz. Afilu teimim be'eved knani. Even we could be talking about eved knani, or l'chori yad eved ki yad rabbi. No. Nase ka'oim lo yikisho b'makel v'yitovoi. Because he said to send it with his eved knani, it's as if he said, hit it on a stick and it will come to me. That if the shoyel told the mashil, don't send it with a messenger, just kick out of your garden, and naturally it's going to come to my house. It's used to coming to my house. So straight away when he leaves the mashil's rishus, since he's doing a rishus in the shlichus of the shoyel, since he does that, he gives it a hit and he goes out the garden, the shoyel's chayev already ba'intzim. So therefore, that has over here, eved with it, walking with it, doesn't make it less than if he hit it with a stick to leave his rishus. So also here, he left his rishus, the shoyel's now mischayev, and he just has his slave looking after it. Meisive, it says in the Brisa, shoyel esaporo, someone borrows a cow, v'sholcho lo biyad bnoi, and he sent it with his son, biyad shlucho, with his messenger chayev. So the shoyel's chayev, biyad avdoi, if he sent it with a slave, potter. Said the Gemara, Bishleim Shmuel masnisim be'eved ivri, and that's why it's yotzim mashal, because it's no yad eved ki yad rabbi, and Brisa be'eved knani. And the Brisa where it says that it's still in rishus a mashal, it's uma eved knani ve'yad eved ki yad rabbi. Elul Rav Kashya, how will Rav answer the steer between the Mishnah and the Brisa that says in the Mishnah that Eved is Yoitzim Rishus Mashal, and when the Brisa says it's not? I'm going to change my Torah. It's not that as if he said hit it and it will go. It's talking about Ele Ema, our Mishnah is talking about Ba'amalei Kisha Makel V'Tova. He told him hit the animal with the stick, make it leave your Rishus, and it's going to come to my Rishus, and therefore he's Mischayev going to him straight away when he leaves the Mashal Rishus, and that his Eved with him doesn't make it worse. The Itma that we learned, Ashleini Poroscho, Reuben tells Shimon, lend me your cow, V'amalei Biad me. If he asks me, no problem, but who should I send to it? V'amalei Kisha Makel V'Tova, hit it in the stick, and it's going to come to me. Omar Rav Nachman, Omar Rav Barvo, Omar Rav, Kevin Shiot Tom, Rishus Mashil, since he went out the Rishus, the Chotza of the Mashil, Umeso, now he died, Chayev, the Shel is Chayev, because he comes into his Rishus, because he ordered this, they should just hit you with a stick and leave his Rishus. So it fits in. Said the Gemara, let's bring, I want to bring a Aryeh to this din. It says, Ashleini Proscho, Reuben told Shimon, lend me your cow. V'amalei biad me, who should I send to it? V'amalei, and the Shel said, the Kisha Makel V'Tova, hit you with a stick and it's going to come. Kevin Sheotim Rishus Mashil, since he left the Rishus of the Mashil, Mesa, and he died, Chayet. So a clear price, like what we just said. Amar Ravashi, no, you can't bring a Aryeh. Ochav me'askin, ki goyin she'osoi, she'oisu chatzer she'shoy lifni michatzer she'l Mashil. It's talking about that they had two chatzeres, one inside the other one, and the inside one was a shoyel, and the outside one was a mashil. When the mashil sends it, it doesn't have anywhere to go but to go to the shoyel. So therefore, in that case, everyone will agree that the shoyel is chai, because straight away when he leaves the mashil, it goes into his chotza, and that's why the shoyel is chai. But if it would be to Rishus Rabbi, maybe there's no raya, maybe really you wouldn't be chai, because doesn't have smichus das to be mischayev ba'ointzim straight away when you leave the mashal's rishus. So the Gemara Yochi, if that's the case in the Brisa, you want to tell me there's no raya. My remember, what's the chiddush? Obviously, if you leave the mashal's rishus into the show's rishus, for sure is mischayev ba'ointzim. So the Gemara loitzricha the ike gazaisa. It's talking about where between the two chatzeres there's like dead areas where there's thorns and places to hide. There's no smichos das of the shoyel to be mischayev because it might get stuck over there. Why dilma kaime also? Maybe it's going to go to that dead area of Eloi Asya le'edia, and it's not going to come into the shoyel's rishus. Kamash malod the sam chadaite, because his chotz is inside and there's only this little dead area in between. He is soymech das, and therefore that's the chiddush of the brisa, and there's no raya from the brisa. Amar Ravuna. Someone who borrows an axe from his friend, Boka boy, once he used it, konoi becomes his. He's mischayev ba'ointzim. Loi Boka boy, he didn't use it. Loi konoi. He's not koiner. Tzedek more lemay. What are we talking about? Ilei melointzim, that the shell should be mischayev ba'ointzim and is only chayev ba'ointzim once he uses the item that he borrowed. What's the difference from a cow to Misha Sheila that once you do Mashiach, you mechayev ba'ointzim? Why do you need to use the axe? So the Gemara elo lechazora. It means that the mashal told the shoyel, I'll lend it to you for a month, and now the mashal wants to change his mind. So can he change his mind or not? So Boka boy, if the shoyel used already the item, loy motzi oda be mashal. The mashal can't change his mind. He promised for a month. He did a kinyan. He started using the item. That's it. Yeah. You have to wait a month. Loi Boka boy, if the shoyel never started using it, motzi mashal odabre. The mashal could say, no, I want it back. And this is the machloikes, this din of Rav Huna argues on the din of Rav Ami. The Omar Rav Ami, a mashal kradum shel hekdesh. Someone who has an axe that belongs to hekdesh and he lends it out to his friend without knowing that shel hekdesh. So straight away there's a me'ila. How much do you have to pay to the me'ila? Because it's still hekdesh, as I know that person has to lend out an item, that the person will be makeh tov to him. The chaver and his friend who got it, muta levaker bo lechatchila, because for this shimush it was yoytze mehekdesh and he's allowed to use the axe. Says the Gemara, if the person is not koina until he uses it, that the person can't change his mind, the mashal, amay moal, why is it called Mila if you never used it yet? Amay chaver mutter levaki belichatchila, how is the shoel allowed to use it? It's not yotza lechulin yet. Nehadre, she give it back to the mashal, v'loy likne, and it shouldn't be koine it with using it, v'loy limon, and it shouldn't be Mila. So we could see that Rami hold that once he gave it over, that's it, you can't be choize, even if the shoel never started using it. Telling more, Pliga de Rabbi Loza, and the dinner of Huna also argues on the Rabbi Loza, the Amar Rabbi Loza, Kadech Shetikne Meshicha Belekucha. It's like when someone buys an item, there's a din Meshicha that becomes him. Kach Tiknu Meshicha Basharim, also Sherman, once you do Meshicha, that's it, the transaction is done, and that no one could change their mind. Tanya Nami Ochi, we learned similar thing, Kishem Shetikne Meshicha Belekucha. It's like the Meshicha when I buy an item in the shop, once I pick up the apples, they become mine. Kach Tikne Meshicha Basharim, once you give a Shoima item, the person can't change his mind, and the person is chayav on all the dinim that he's chayav for. Ukashem, tzadik tesah and bei, shekarka niknes bekesef, v'shtar chazaka, like a karka, it can be bought with money, with a document, and chazaka, like locking it. Kach schirus, also schirus, if I rent an item, nikne bekesef, v'shtar chazaka, once I pay, or I do a document, or I do a chazaka on the item, it becomes mine. Says Gemara, Schirus ma'avidate. Schirus mechetesa kesef should work. We know that the kinyonim of metaltalin kesef doesn't work. You need Meshicha. So why suddenly by Schirus of metaltalin does kesef work? Omar of Chizda, we mean the Brisa means Schirus karka, means when someone's renting land. And renting land is also nikna like buying land with kesef, shtar, and chazaka. But metaltalin enochanami is with Meshicha. Omar Shmuel, a high man, the goes in Chavitza, the Chamer Mechavero, someone stole like a circle of dates from his friend, and there's 50 dates on it. Ve'isbo chamishim tamri, agav adodi, if you sell it, I want mizdaben benun. Roki chada, it gets sold for 49, 50 minus 1, that's 49. Choda, if you sell it one each at a time, mizdaben benun, it gets sold for 50. So what? So the din is lehedyot. If you stole it from a hedyot mishalem chamishim rokichada, you have to give 49. We look at it as if you would sell it at one bunch. Lehegdish, if you stole it from hegdish mishalem chamishim, pays 50 v'chumshayu, and a fifth on top of that. Like we know, if someone uses hegdish, he has to pay a choimish. Masha enkin b'mazik deloy mishalem chumsha. Masha enkin, if you mazik hegdish, you didn't steal from hegdish, you damaged it. There was something that belonged to hegdish, let's say these dates, and you put it on file. You don't have to pay a fifth over it, only the 50 you have to pay. The Omar Mar, we learned, Ishkir Chal Kodesh, over there, it says over there, they have to pay Choimish. And we say, Prat, to exclude Lemazik, if you Mazik Hekdesh, you don't have to pay a Choimish. Matki Flora Bibi Barbaye, or Bibi Barbaye said, Kasha, Lehedyo, Tamar Mishalem Chamishim Nochi Chodo, why do you only pay 49 when you stole it from a Hedyot, from a normal person? Namely, the Nigzal should say, Ano chodo, I would sell it one by one and I would get 50 for it. Why are you paying me only 49? Omar Avuna, brother of Yeshua, Shomim Beiso, Boise Sodetna. The Mishnah in Bobi Kama that's talking about the Hezek of Shem, it says over there that if a cow or ate in a field, so we don't look at the 4 cabbages ate, how much each cabbage is worth. You look at the field as a base saw, how much is worth with those 4 cabbages or without those 4 cabbages, and it's much less of an amount of money if you look at it separate. So since we see it by Nezikin, and Gezel is a similar din, that we make it on the mazik, so also here we make it on the Gazlan to pay the lower price. Okay, so now we understand the din of Shmuel. Says the Gemara, Lemeimer, you want to tell me the Sova Shmuel, that Shmuel holds din edyot lav kedin bevoedomim, that the din of a between Adam leChavera and between Adam leHekdesh is different. That we say to Hekdesh you pay 50 and to Edyot you pay 49. But now we learned in the Mishnah not tell Even Kurem Hekdesh. Someone took a stone or a beam from Hekdesh. Lo Moal, he was no moil because he didn't do a shinu yet. Not on leChavera, if he gave it to his friend to now to Yitzim Rishus Hekdesh to his friend Rishus, who Moal, leChavera Lo Moal. So if you put it in his house as a beam, but he didn't do a shinimais in the item, he just put it on top of the roof, let's say, loy moal, he's no moal, because there's no shinushus. Until he lives underneath it, the value of a Shova Pruta. So until here the Mishnah. V'yosef Ravo Kamid Rabbi Yochanan. V'yosef Kama Mishmei Shmuel Ravo was sitting in front of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said it in front of from the name of Shmuel. The Ephemeris, we could see from this Mishnah, if Reuven lives in Shimon's property without him knowing, he needs to pay him. What's a raya? Since we say that if he lived in Hegdish, underneath the beam of Hegdish, I know of Shawat Pruta, you need your moyel, it means that if I live in someone else's property without permission, I need to pay, because otherwise, why shouldn't I be moyel? So what do we see? We see from here that Shmuel said the Hegdish and Hediot have the same din. Because if Hediot and Hegdish don't have the same din, maybe by Hegdish, Ador B'chatzor, Hegdish, Lomidas, you need to pay. But by Hediot, Ador B'chatzor, Chaver, you don't need to pay, because it's a different din between Hediot and Hegdish. Elamai, we could see that Shmuel held that Hediot and Hegdish has the same din. So it's a kasha to what we said before, that he said the Hegdish you pay 50 and the Hediot you pay 49. So the Gemara, Oda Bei Shmuel Mahi. The raya that Shmuel brought from the Mishnah, Shmuel was Choizer boy, and therefore Shmuel really holds a Hektish and Hedit have a different din. Over there he says they have the same din, he would change his mind about that. So the Gemara, we have here a stira. In one place Shmuel say Hedit and by us, Hedit and Hektish have a different din. Over there he said that they have the same din, and we say he was Choizer boy from there. So the Gemara, how do you know that he changed his mind over there and he holds about saying the Hektish and Hedit is the same, and he changed his mind to say that really Hektish and Hedit is different. Maybe he changed his mind about the din over here. At the beginning he said that they don't have the same din, Hedit and Hektish, and then he changed his mind and he said they do have the same din. So the Gemara, we know that he changed his mind from the one over there, because anyway the din over there is not good raya. Why? The whole din of a dar b'chatzah chaver shlemidat toy tzorch lalos l'schara ain't tzorch lalos l'schara shlemidat toy, because he went into someone's property without his permission, and then he finds out, do you have to pay or not? If I go into someone else's property and when I'm walking in, he tells me, listen, if you go and you stay here, you're gonna have to pay me £100 a day. For sure, if I stay there, I have to pay. So Rava says by Hegdish, who's Hegdish? Hashem. Does Hashem, is there anything he doesn't know? He knows everything. So if you live in a house underneath your beam, Hashem knows that you're living there, and Hashem is basically saying, if you live here, you'll be moil, because you're going to need to pay me, because you're having anor, and therefore there's no raya anyway. Even if Ador B'chatzor Chaver Shlem Midato, you're still moil, because by Hegdish it's midas. So anyway, Shmuel's raya over there is shlocked up, and therefore it's more mistaba. What he holds over here, the Hegdish and Hegdish is different, is what stayed, and that's his final shitta. Amarova, Anishakuloi, these porters, the tabru chavita de chamra, that he broke a barrel of wine, the shopkeeper, b'yoyim de shuka, in the day of the market where lots of people are coming to buy, mizdabna behei, it's worth 5. B'shayim, in a normal day of the year, mizdabna be'arba, you can buy it for 4. So says the Gemara, adrule b'yoyim de shuka, if you're giving it to him back on the day of the shuk, mahadrule chavita de chamra, they have to give him back. They could give him back a barrel of wine, and they don't have to give him 5, because it's worth. Here, go sell it on the day. It's still the day of the market. Go sell it, please, for 5. I broke a barrel of wine. Here's a barrel of wine. If they give it back in a different time of the year, hey, they have to pay back 5. And it's not good, the barrel of wine, because the barrel of wine now is only worth 4. And when you broke it, it was worth 5, because I could have sold it in the day of the shuk, of the market. When do we say that in other times of the year they need to pay 5? That's when they never had, when this shopkeeper never had any other wine to sell. But if you had other wine to sell, why didn't he sell the other wine? He must be not desperate to sell. So if you're not desperate to sell, even the one that I broke, you wouldn't sell. So therefore, I'm only giving you the back of the value of a barrel of wine, and now it's worth 4. I'm giving you 4. In the case where he does give him 5, you could cut off that 5. So that means they made him lose. He couldn't sell his barrel of wine. But if you'd have to sell that barrel of wine, you'd have to say sit in the market all day. So that's has value. So that value we take off the 5 that he needs to pay. And also, like I'm going to explain like one chat in Rashi, we take off the price that you pay for someone to make the hole at the bottom of the barrel, to make a lid, not lid, to make a tap. So that tap, let's say, cost a certain amount. Now they didn't have to sell it, and I'm giving you the value of how much it would get sold. You don't have to pay for the person to do the tap. So we knock off the price I have to pay these porters, the price you need to pay to open the tap. Shkoyach, everyone should be blessed. We should be zoiche to remember this Gemara. We should be zoiche to do Chazar. We should be zoiche to learn lots of more Gemaras. Thank you.